Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mac and Talk for Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023. I am your facilitator, Chanelle Allen, and Mac and Talk is a Q&A conference call for anyone with Mac questions. Whether you are considering if the Mac is an appropriate device for you and you need tips on which one to buy, or maybe you are finally have your Mac and have VoiceOver, but you need some tips and encouragement for getting started. Or you could be a longtime Mac user and have some questions about an app or feature. For whatever reason, I am glad that you are joining us now, tonight, live, or later on via the podcast recording. Before we get into our main program, I would love to talk about iBug today, and I can't even keep track of how many events we offer every month. So the best way to keep up with them and to know about them is our website and social media. You can visit our website, ibugtoday.org. The first thing to do on there is to register to become a member. Registration is free. Participating in all of our events is free. We are a nonprofit organization, and so we take donations, but training and fun is provided at no cost to you. In addition to registering, you will be able to look at our upcoming events. We have a calendar. June's aren't probably showing yet, but they will be up soon. And you can listen to previous recordings of our workshops. There's also a link for Mac and Talk where you will find my contact info, in addition to instructions on how to subscribe to the Mac and Talk mailing list. And on social media, we do post all of our announcements and latest happenings. If you go to facebook.com/groups/ibugtoday, you will find our interactive discussion group where, in addition to announcements, people ask questions in between events. It's a great place to share things that are helpful and benefit the blind community of people using Apple and accessibility. On Twitter, we can be found at iBugToday and on Instagram as well. Even if you are not happy with Twitter right now, and a lot of people aren't and don't want to use it, you can still go to twitter.com/iBugToday and have a look at Herbie's curated feed of Apple news, tech deals, rumors, and more. And on June 5th, I'm sure Herbie will be live tweeting the WWDC event. So it's definitely a good place to go for all things Apple and assistive technology. And our announcements are posted there as well. In terms of we have a YouTube channel. We were just talking about YouTube earlier. If you look for iBug Today on YouTube, you will find our channel. And what's great about that too is we have certain playlists. For example, the iBug Mac training course. One of the recent sessions is up there on YouTube. I think we need to get the latest up there, but we will. And that's available. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can ask your smart speaker of choice for iBug Buzz, iBug Mac and Talk, iBug Apple Workshop, and iBug Cafe. And you can also put those into your favorite podcast app. And let's see, in terms of what's happening this week, on Thursday, we have It's iBug's Life, If I Had a Hammer. This is ran by Facilitator George Batiste, and this month's topic is tools you can use for small and in-home repairs. On Friday, I hope you join us for iBug Night at the virtual movies, beginning at 7:30 with a pre-movie social, followed by the movie at 8, which is Traffic, and then a discussion follows. And next Monday, and every single Monday, by the way, all the times I've mentioned are central, and all of these events take place with the same Zoom meeting ID and passcode. Next Monday, even though it's Memorial Day, we will be having iBug Buzz, and that is a call for all of your iDevice, iOS questions, anything not related to the Mac that's still Apple. This is solely devoted to the Mac, but on iBug Buzz, we talk about everything else. And we'd love to have you join us. That takes place every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. And to know about upcoming things like the cafe, the iBug Apple workshop, which we were just talking about because the recent one from last Saturday commemorated our 12th anniversary, and it was really fun. We had lots of entertainment, skits, games, prizes, and more, and that was great. And so be sure to stay tuned for announcements of the next one coming up, as well as the iBug Cafe, iBug Android Insight, and a whole bunch more. And now it is time for everyone for us to hear who you are and where you're calling from. And if this is your first time joining us, let us know that as well. I am Chanelle and I live in Houston.
Currently unmuted.
Misty from New Jersey.
Welcome.
This is Dad from Orange County, California.
Welcome.
This is Merle from Lincoln City, Oregon.
And Merle.
Diane from St. Clair Shores, Michigan.
Welcome.
This is
Keith
Kathy
from Minnesota.
Tulsa.
Okay, Kathy from Tulsa and Keith from Minnesota. Welcome.
Pete from Florida.
Hi, Pete. Welcome.
Howdy.
Vincent in New Jersey.
Welcome, Vincent.
Dan, Southern California.
Oh, Sandhya and Dan. Welcome.
And I'm Lynn from Delaware.
Welcome, Lynn.
Thanks.
Okay, I think.
Excuse me, this is Harvey from Virginia, and it is my first time.
Oh, Harvey, welcome. How did you hear about us?
My mother.
Oh, okay. Great.
Rosetta Brown.
Oh, she's one of our promising mentees, I think, in the
Yes.
iBug
Right.
Jump Charts.
iPad out of Georgia. Yeah.
Okay, great. And do you have a Mac?
Yes, I'm a Mac user. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. That's great. Well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the first part of our call is for beginners or anybody with a beginning Mac question, anybody who's a first-time caller. You're welcome to ask a question. At this time, we just ask you say your name, wait to be acknowledged, and then once I say go ahead, ask your question.
This is Harvey. Question.
Sure. Go ahead, Harvey.
So, brand new to the Mac. I got an iMac.
Uh-huh.
And I'm brand new to it. But it doesn't appear to use the desktop. Can you just talk to me a little bit about the layout of this thing? I notice it's more menu-based than desktop-based as a laptop would be. A Windows
That's
laptop.
a great question. Who would like to kind of explain the layout of the Mac to Harvey?
This is Diane.
Yeah, go ahead, Diane.
Okay, are you referring like where the menu is at the top?
Yeah, things like that.
And the dock, I think is at the bottom, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
And then, you have your desktop and I'm not sure exactly where the Finder is because I just always have it up on my Mac. So I don't know if, yeah.
You're doing a great job, Diane.
Yeah,
Diane
you're doing a
and
good job,
Merle
Diane.
are people in my class and the recent Mac training class that just occurred. Go ahead, Brad.
Well, I was going to say Diane's doing a great job. Finder is the Mac equivalent of Windows Explorer. It is
Yep.
your user interface. It's the graphical user interface. It is the interface between you, the computer user, and the computer, the Mac's operating system. It uses the graphical desktop layout. And like Diane was saying, there's a menu bar that's always present. across the top of the screen. And then there's a dock that by default it's on the bottom of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And the dock is just where, you could put items on the dock for quick access. It comes with stuff down there, but you can change it around, delete things that you don't care to be there, add things you do want there. But that's pretty much it. The finder, when she's saying she know how to find it, it's always there, and it will show up in your rotation of currently running programs, similar to how on Windows, but a little different.
It's not so the finder is not physically on the screen anywhere, like on a constant basis, then you're saying.
Well, the desktop is part of the finder, and so that's always open.
Or if you have a file, a finder window open, meaning you're looking at a folder and its contents, or you could have multiple finder windows or multiple tabs within a finder window. I'm sure you guys covered that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but that's it.
Okay.
And just to add further, the Mac desktop typically does not have a lot of things on it. Your dock, at the thing at the bottom, is probably going to be more similar to your Windows desktop, but we generally don't put a lot of things on the Mac desktop. The Mac desktop is really used more as a place to launch drives, any drives connected to your computer. And it might have shortcuts to files or folders on your Mac, but we generally don't store those files and folders themselves on the desktop. So,
which doesn't mean that you can't.
Right. It doesn't mean you can't. It just
what it is. The desktop is a graphical representation of a folder. Same thing on Windows. And actually, the more things you have on your desktop, the more the operating system, either Windows or Mac, has to do processing power to make graphical representation of those items.
Those icons. Okay.
Yeah. My dad used to keep everything in the world on his desktop. I never understood why, but that's just how he did it.
Yeah.
And it was, as a voiceover user, it drove me crazy, but he was cited and, but he did the same thing on Windows too. So, I would recommend you keeping, your items in your documents folder or something like that, but you keep a tidy desktop.
Got you. Okay.
That's a really great question, Harvey. We're glad you're here.
All right.
And keep asking if you have any more questions.
This is Dot.
Yes, Dot.
Along the line with that question, as a blind person, do we really need to know the layout of the Mac computer? Can we just do it by memorize all the command, all the key combination, like VO, voice over key command, and the universal command? And can we survive with that without knowing?
That's
because
what I
don't
used
have
to
in my
do.
brain.
I know, and I don't think that way either. But
I can't think like that.
But I think it helps those who are transitioning from a sighted world or from, knowing where things are on the screen. And some people do care about that. I've never been one too, but I try to incorporate that in my teaching in case people are curious. And even I don't know exactly, but I know roughly where certain things are at. And I think that's what matters. And if you're ever helping a sighted person, it might be useful to know. Hey, look at that thing at the top right of your screen. You can tell them.
I can see your point, but just as a blind person, between ourselves, I don't really need to know.
I know.
I just memorize all the key commands and the menus. Like the go menu, where to go, and everything. Yeah.
It helps if you're knowing that whether you're going right or left or up or down.
Yeah,
that's important to understand.
So,
does anyone else have a thought or opinion on this topic?
Brad, I think it's a good idea to, like Chanelle said, even if you can't see it, it's like furniture in a room. It's nice to know where things are relative to each other. It's nice to know that menu bar is always on the top of the screen.
Yeah.
Does it matter that the dock is on the bottom? Because if you go into your settings, you can put the dock on the left side of the screen, the right side of the screen, or the bottom. And if you're using it with keyboard command, it really doesn't matter. where it is, it's going to function the same way.
Right.
But it's just a good idea to know, to me, like she said, that the dock is on the top of the screen. So when you do the keyboard command that puts your focus on the dock, it's good to know that, that the Apple menu is on the far left, and that's where you always start out when you go to the menu bar. And then you're going to use a right arrow, either right arrow by itself or with the VO, a modifier right arrow, to navigate from left to right across the different menus. And that menu is always there. It is contextual. It will change depending upon the application that is currently in focus. So it's a good idea to get familiar with it. Your Apple is always on the left. Those are Mac OS system things that are in that menu. And then you're going to have a menu for whatever is the current app. And then what comes after that may be different depending upon usually it's
that
file,
I remember.
edit. But those things.
Yeah. I promise I will try thinking that way.
And I just found out that the sighted world couldn't see, so it's best to help direct them at times.
Yeah, really.
Oh, sure.
Well, they're cursed with sight, so we have to help them.
Yeah, sometimes, sight could be a handicap, so we have to help them out.
Yes.
Miss Kathy.
Yes, Kathy.
One of the things that we do as blind people, we kind of give things names. I mean, maybe Apple gives them the names, but a lot of people sighted won't know what you mean if you say go to the dock or go to the
right. Yeah.
And that can really help us in communicating with each other. Where using the terms.
Chanelle?
Yes, Diane.
Yep. When I was taking the iPhone training through TTJ Tech, one of the instructors on that used to send out a listing, like a description of all of the different icons on the phone screen. And the reason she did it was so that if we were like trying to work with a sighted person, that we could explain to them better what they might, what they should be looking for, when it comes to helping us.
Right.
Yeah. So I think this is maybe kind of something a little similar to that.
It is, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Great question, Dat, and that's always a good thing for discussion. How much do we need to know so that we know enough, but we don't have to burden ourselves with it too? And that's a whole. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Who wants to ask our next question?
Unmute audio.
Misty.
Currently unmuted.
Yes, Misty.
I'm always having trouble finding how to upgrade my software, and then I end up having to ask my husband. Can somebody walk me through that?
Who would like to walk Misty through updating her Mac? It's really important.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
No?
Well, I just did mine here a while back. I don't know if I remember everything, but I think you go into, I can't remember what it's called now. It just went out of my mind. I had it.
System settings. Yep.
And then you go down to general, and then you go over to your name, and or in general, you can go over to update, and then you can update it.
Well, I have tried that, and I ended up everywhere but.
Okay, so one.
This is Brad. I can tell you a really quick way to get to it.
I bet I know. Go ahead.
You probably have system. First of all, we're assuming, I don't know, which operating system are you running? We're going to assume everyone is running the most recent version of macOS, which is Ventura. If you're not running Ventura and you're running, because maybe your Mac won't run it, you're running maybe Monterey or Big Sur or, one of the more recent iterations of it. The only difference is in Ventura, system preferences is now system settings, which it had always been known as system preferences for years and years before that. But it's really kind of the same thing. But you're going to look on your dock. So put focus on your dock with VOD.
Right.
And then type in the Mac. We do first letter navigation a little different. I would type SY for system, the first 2 letters, or even the first 3. And that'll put your focus on system settings or system preferences if you're not running Ventura. Then do we all know how to open our shortcut menu? That is VO Shift M. And that will open up a list of all the categories and subcategories in system settings or system preferences. And then you could type the first couple of letters of software update, type SOF or just SO will do it. And you'll be on software update. When that shortcut menu opens, it's going to say something like, I can't remember, 34 items on that list. You type SO, and then you can either type VO spacebar or just hit your enter key, and it will open system settings to software update. And you may be and if you're in Ventura, you're going to be somewhere in the upper left corner of that window. So you're going to need to VO right arrow over a search edit field, then VO over the categories list. Don't interact with it and change anything. Then VO right arrow again, and you'll hear it say vertical separator. Keep going one more, and you'll be in software update. Now you want to interact with it. I know we all know how to interact. VO Shift down arrow.
Yes.
And now you've interacted with the contents of the software update section. And then you can use your VO right arrow, because you should be at the top of it, to VO through this area, and it will tell you if there's an update. You will find a button to download the update.
Authentication. Application.
You may be prompted
Application.
to enter your administrator password. Don't get that confused with your Apple ID. That's not what it's asking. It wants your admin password for your Mac. And then you just follow the prompts and it should do it.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a real straightforward process, and thanks to Brad for making it. It's
using that shortcut menu.
It's a lifesaver.
It will help you. You can also get, if you're already in system preferences, if you go to the menu bar and then go to the view menu, you will find all those categories listed in there as well.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
But you've got to already be in system preferences to use that view menu.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
This
welcome.
is Dad.
Yes, Dad.
So during the updating process, you're gonna have a long pause. Like your computer is not doing anything, but it's actually doing something. So don't worry about it. So
right.
Yep.
So don't go panicky. Oh no, what happened? I used to do that.
Yeah.
Go panicky. Yeah.
There's a reason. Sorry, Brad.
I was going to say I do it before I go to bed at night, because I'll know that sometimes they take a long time. Sometimes they don't. You never really know. But I will, when I'm done with it for the day and I know there's an update, sometimes it's a good idea, especially if it's a major update from, like, when you go from one version, like from Mac OS 12 to Mac OS 13. That one's going to take longer than a point update. But I'll tend to start it before I go to bed. And I might even hit Command F5 to turn voiceover off, so I know that it won't just start randomly talking at some point during the update when I've gone to bed, and then my wife hears it and what's that? So, and then when I get up in the morning and come back, it's just sitting there. I do Command F5, turn voiceover back on, and there it is, just waiting on me to log in.
Yep. Yeah, I actually started to update mine while we were in Clubhouse. There's a new update out for Ventura. It's 12.4. And fortunately, it did get done in about 15 minutes before I had to be here. So it was all good.
That one was a
But
quick one.
yeah, it was.
It really was pretty quick.
Yep.
Took only about 15 minutes, I think. I don't know.
Yes.
Downloading took the longest, but not always. Sometimes they download and then it takes a long time to do the update. But
actually, for me, the update itself took longer. The download was
really?
quicker. Yeah, the update thing was about 15 minutes or so while it was just sitting
Unmute audio.
there.
Currently unmuted.
Yep.
Hi guys. From Tulsa.
Hello.
It's Corey and Sarah's
Corey.
here too.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Yep.
Hi.
Everybody's here. So yeah, I was just dropping in. We had some internet connectivity issues, so sorry about being late. Button. Group.
It's okay. Did you have a question?
No, just wanted to let you guys know that we're here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Authentication. Log out.
And we are hearing somebody's speech, so
It's
yeah.
eloquence.
Yeah,
speech.
eloquence on the Mac. All right, so who has our next question?
This is Keith.
Yes, Keith?
With iOS, a lot of times when there's a major update, we have learned over the years that it's often prudent to wait several weeks until one actually installs the new update, because the new updates can be buggy, especially when one is a voiceover user. Is it the same recommendation to do that with major Mac OS updates?
All right, who would like to answer that?
This is Brad. I would say that's a very good way to proceed. I like your word prudent, because you never know. And it's a good idea if you're familiar with AppleVis, AppleVis.org, I believe.
.com.
.com. Okay, thank you. See, I just type in app and it just autofills.
Yeah, I know.
But there will be articles and things, and they are usually on it even before the public release. But it's a good idea to check with AppleVis and see what other voiceover users are saying about it. There have been times when I have waited a long time before doing the update. There's also been times when it was fine at first, and then they came out with a point update and messed everything up. I have the luxury of having two Macs. One of them is not as mission critical as the other. And once I know it's okay, I may wait a week and then do the update on the non-critical Mac before I dive into the pool with the other Mac that is more mission critical. But actually, they're kind of both mission critical. But anyway, it's hard to go backwards. So being prudent is a wise plan.
I agree with that. I think sometimes the point updates aren't as in my experience, you've been able to do the point updates fairly, quickly. It's just like the major, from whatever the previous one was before Ventura, Monterey or whatever, to Ventura. That's
well, I remember when they did Big Sur. It was fine at first, but it was when they did the 0.1 update that a voiceover bug was introduced that made it difficult to open a shortcut menu for a dock item.
Oh,
and it took them several point updates before they fixed that bug. I mean, there was a way to do it if you are good enough to put your voiceover focus on a dock item, route your mouse to it, and then you had to actually use the trackpad to do a 2-finger press to, open it. You could not do it through a voiceover keyboard command to simulate a mouse down, because there isn't a right click mouse down gesture. There's just a left click mouse down command. And you could open it that way. Once you had it open, you could navigate up and down with your arrow key and then hit enter. But It was introduced in when it was Big Sur 12. No, 11. 11.1, I believe. And it was then you thought, oh yeah, here's 0.2. They'll fix it. No, it was like 0.4 before they fixed it. It was quite a while. I don't know why, but that was
true.
one
Yeah.
when I was using it and then that got introduced. So you never know what's going to happen with a major or even a minor update. So it is a good idea to be prudent, read AppleViz. The mainstream media's they're not going to talk about voiceover issues.
No.
But AppleViz is your friend.
That is definitely the case. Yep. Never hurts to wait. I mean, if your Mac is several things out of date, well, but one or two or whatever, no big deal. So, very good. All right, who has our next question?
Hi, this is Lynn.
Yes, Lynn.
Okay, I was wondering, do you have any tips for I don't know if this is the right time to ask this, but iMessage on the Mac, for some reason I'm just having a really hard time like navigating finding my what do you call it? Conversations.
Ah, okay.
Like on the phone I can get right to them, but on the Mac I'm just sort of like I had to get to a message quickly on the Mac the other day because I'm involved in some podcasts now and I needed a Zoom link and I could not find that conversation. And do they sync up with your phone or?
They should if you have messages in iCloud enabled.
Okay, I think I do.
Yeah, you would check on both accounts, but does anyone want to talk about the messages layout and how you navigate around in there? Yeah, Corey, go ahead.
Okay, for messages, sorry about my eloquence. I'm on an open because Sarah's participating as well. When you go into there, you have collections of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to just interact with them and you scroll through the conversations and then you interact with the one that you want. It reads them by number. I don't find it as eloquent as the phone version, but if you're typing and you want access to the keyboard and all the computer stuff, it will do you. Also, just at the end of the message conversation that you're in, you can do a VO Command H, and it will bring you to the heading at the end of the conversation, and then you can navigate back.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah, because
and then
I
interacted to navigate through that conversation. You have to keep drilling though. It's like finding oil.
Yeah, I did interact with the collections.
Yeah, and then
the collection, but I couldn't
conversation, right?
Yeah.
Based on the phone number or the person's name. And then you have to drill down in once you find the right number or name, you got to drill down again.
See, mine's a little different. What I do, and I don't know, the conversations list, you interact with the list, and then I just VO space on the person I want, and then I can uninteract and then go to the right, and that conversation is shown. But I don't know. Maybe it's just different things. Another way to get into that conversations list is VOJ.
Right.
And that'll, and then I would just, VO space on the conversation you want.
Yeah. Once I find it, I can, but a lot of times I can't find it. It's like it's not in the list.
Yeah. Then I wonder, it must be a syncing issue. And did you also make sure that message forwarding is enabled on your
in this like the system settings?
Yeah, and so what you would do is go in your iPhone, on the settings app on your phone, go into messages, forwarding, make sure your Mac is selected as one of the things that it can forward to.
Okay.
Make sure messages in iCloud is enabled on both your phone and your Mac, and then they should sync up.
This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad, go ahead.
And I'm thinking that message forwarding is important because a lot of times the messages you get may not be from someone using iMessage.
Right.
Maybe a non-Apple user, or even, believe it or not, I have found some people who are using an iPhone who, for whatever reason, did not understand what iMessage is, and they have it turned off.
Oh,
And
no, I wouldn't.
so they are
Yeah.
just using standard SMS messaging,
Oh,
even
my
though they have an
gosh.
iPhone,
No.
and
Yeah.
we've explained to them what it was, and they still didn't turn it on right away. They just didn't understand why they needed it. And so you will not get, you need that message forwarding turned on in order to get those messages forwarded from your iPhone to your Mac or your iPad or whatever other non cell phone device you are using, that Apple's
Right.
non-cell phone device.
Yeah,
But it's
'cause
also got to be signed into the same
Account.
Apple ID.
account. Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
One other thing, like I do get messages on the Mac.
Then
Like
you're in
when
the same
somebody
Apple
sends,
ID.
yeah, when somebody sends me a message, it pops up, the notification thing pops up. But it's strange. Sometimes like there are conversations that I'll look at the list and I don't see them. And I'm like, what the heck? Where are they?
Make sure that message forwarding is turned on.
Okay, I will do
get
that.
you the non iMessages sent to you.
And sometimes I have to try, like if I make major changes on my phone, or if I haven't had my Mac on for a while or whatever, there's a thing if you go into the messages and you go into preferences, and there's an iMessage thing in the toolbar, and then you just go into the main settings for that. There's something called sync messages in iCloud.
Yep.
And so I do that sometimes because mine are not in sync, and it could just be for having an older computer. Maybe that's my problem, but sometimes that will help me.
This is Pete.
Okay.
Yeah, Pete.
Chanelle and Brad, you may or may not remember, I did a recording demo
Oh, you
of the
did.
Messages
Yeah.
app on the Mac, and I don't know if it's appropriate to offer that either I or maybe Chanelle share that somehow. On the iBug Facebook group or something along those. I don't know if that's appropriate for me to offer that.
Is that on your iBug Today on your YouTube?
No, I don't.
No, it was under the AC. I think it was an ACB MacBite, wasn't it, Brad?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I can get that to a copy of that to Chanelle, and she can listen to it and decide what she wants to do.
Okay,
It was a nice
I'll
about
try.
a 20-minute demo.
Yeah, it was a good demo. And I think I also gave everybody in the class a link to Herbie's messages demo. It was done a couple years ago, but a lot of it is still relevant. But Pete did a really nice job.
And I used Herbie's as a starting point. And I covered pretty much everything I thought we've been talking about here with syncing your iCloud and your setting your preferences and things like that.
If we just had the demo part, not necessarily the whole bits meeting, but the demo, I think that would be fine.
It's just Pete's demo.
That would be perfect. Okay.
It's only about 20 minutes long. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah,
if you get that to me somehow.
I could just go ahead and post it over on the iBug Today Facebook group if that's okay with Sandhya. I heard Sandhya earlier. I don't know if that's appropriate.
I'm sure that is. Lynn, or are you on that iBug Today Facebook group?
No, I'm not really a Facebook. I have an account, but
okay. Well, wherever
wherever
he posts it, I will get the link and give it to you. So,
well, I'll just shoot it
to
you. I'll send you an email.
Okay, that'd be perfect. Okay,
great. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Might save you a little time. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
This is Dot again.
Yes, Dot.
I have a kind of related question to the messages and memory. Well, when I interact with the collection on the messages, does the key combination command option up arrow works for go to the most recent message?
No, I don't think so.
No, it doesn't work like the mail.
You could do VO home though and VO end.
VO home. So the latest message is always on the left, right?
Well, it depends.
Speaking of the layout.
Yeah.
The top. No, bottom. Newest one, when you're in the conversation, the newest is on the bottom. So
on the bottom. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Or just like a phone.
Exactly. It is laid out
It's like
similar
a phone,
to the phone, except
the
your
phone.
list of conversations is on the left. There's a vertical splitter, and then the contents of the conversation
Okay. Just
is
like a
on the
phone.
right. And like Chanelle said, I think VOJ is a good way to navigate from section to, I don't know if they call them containers on the Mac like they do on the iOS, but
container,
go
okay.
from section to section, although it doesn't let you go backwards. You
It
can
doesn't,
only go
no.
in a forward
That's weird.
direction.
I
And what's
don't-
nice about it is when you go from one section to another, it automatically interacts. So
Yeah.
It's like, I wish it
handy.
goes. I wish the what's that command? Right brace or left brace works like in the
That's forwards
No.
and
That would be
backwards.
nice.
No, that doesn't work.
I think
this
Pete
is
was
Pete.
trying to say, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in the conversations collection, when you want to find the contact conversations collection, you interact, and then the VO home gets you to the top, which is your latest. And then, unless you have pinned,
that's right.
Yeah,
pinned
pinning is
the latest is on top in that, and the oldest on the bottom.
Right, and then you uninteract and go down to your messages collection, and then you interact with that, and then the most recent is at the bottom of that.
At the bottom, that's correct.
The most recent message from whomever you're interacting with is at
within
the
the conversation. Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
All these layers. This has been great.
Yes, yeah. My second part of the question is when your Mac sync all the message, mail, and podcast, does it stay on the cloud, or it's gonna take space in the Mac hard drive? I never know. Like,
which one are you talking about?
Messages? All of them, like the mail, the messages, and the podcasts. Are they all going to stay on the cloud?
Mail, depending on how you got it set up, most people nowadays are using IMAP or some other cloud-based server. If you're using POP, God help you. But those are getting phased out. I know I use AT&T, Yahoo. I don't even think they offer POP anymore. I know Gmail still does. Some do. But anyway, if you're using IMAP, which is what most of them are, your stuff is on the email provider's server. There is some content that may be on your Mac, but like for the most part, it is not on your Mac. It is in the in the cloud on your email provider's mail server. As far as what else did you mention? Podcast. Those could be on your machine if you probably they download to your machine when you listen to them. I don't use podcasts on my Mac. I have,
I don't.
But
I
just tend to prefer to do it on my iPhone device. But I believe you can listen to them in the cloud, or you can download them for offline listening as well. So it may be either way. But if you are downloading, then they certainly are taking up space. But podcasts are small. I mean, but it adds up, So if you download, and don't delete ones you've already listened to, you are going to start, taking up some space that matters.
And this is Lynn.
Yes, Lynn.
What I had to do, because there are only 24 hours in a day, and I had like lots of podcasts. But you could tell it like to only keep the latest two, or only keep so many, so that they're not laying there on your system and taking up space. And then you could always go back and download, like you can look at the feed and say, if you say, I really would, I don't have that one, I'd like to get it. And it's easy to just, click on it and download it.
Yeah, definitely.
But if I just start again, if I just download to my phone, it's not going to be automatically download to my Mac, right? The podcast, I mean, Yeah.
No, I don't
Not
think so.
necessarily. No.
Oh, okay, good. Because I don't want to take space of my machine. And yeah.
Yep.
So that's good.
All right.
No, thank you very much. Yeah.
You're welcome. Managing
Got a raised
space
hand,
on
Chanelle.
Oh, we do. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know. We typically don't do raised hands here, but you're welcome to go ahead and speak up.
Hello. Yes, this is Erica.
Hi, Erica. Welcome.
Thank you. This is I'm new to this. This is actually my first Zoom meeting, and in the iBug as well.
Great.
Like so, I recently lost. I'm visually impaired now, and it's been about a couple years, and now I'm starting to. I don't know nothing about computers. Didn't really. I used to just use the phone, which I know phones are just limited to certain things, and now I want to, of course, get into going back to school or learning how to use the computer more.
Great.
So iBug, I've been reading about it. I went to and my question is, how do I learn what is best for me? I guess, everybody's different and learn different. And I don't know if the Mac or, Apple or Samsung or I'm not even sure what to say, but because I do want to go back to school and I want to do something in bilingual. And, but I don't know, about where to start. So computer, I guess I have to start there.
Right. Well, who wants to help Erica, figuring out where to start? And sometimes for each person, it's a different journey. And yeah.
I know. And I'm sorry if it's too much.
No.
I could just listen and see if I could catch something here and there. And I had been to the Apple store and asked them for help. I had been to the Samsung store and asked them for help. I went to a Best Buy and asked them for help. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, this is Lynn.
Yes,
Hello,
Lynn.
Okay. So one thing that's really nice about Apple products is you have a screen reader right out of the box. A good one.
Okay.
So that's really nice. Now on the Windows side, I have to admit there are some, I guess, good ones now. What's that? There are a couple free ones and Narrator and all, but I think that VoiceOver is a great program. I would say it's better than Narrator.
Okay. Okay.
There are pros and cons to all of them, and it's funny. It's kind of like when you ask that question, it could in a less civilized group that could really become a I don't know what you'd call it. It would get
divisive
everybody
issue.
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah. So and I think both platforms are good, but the nice thing is that with Apple, you have a screen reader that's tried and tested by many blind people, and it's right. It's built right in, and it's so easy to enable it. It's you don't have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops.
It won't be too complicated to use.
It might seem complicated at first, but there's a method to the madness, and it will get easier. And you might just want to start out by, like you said, going to the Apple store. Maybe just getting an iPhone to start with, or something. Just getting your hands on the devices, listening to VoiceOver. So a screen reader is what allows us to use the devices because it reads things on the screen, and it not only reads things, but it allows us to do commands or gestures or whatever to take control of what's on the screen. So
that the one thing that I've had issues, because I'm with my vision, the light, it bothers me a lot. So, and then, it would blind me. So with the dark mode, everything being dark mode would be beautiful for me. And, but when sometimes we're on the phone when I'm trying to go to, because it wouldn't be dark mode. So even if I have the phone on dark mode, it doesn't stay dark mode.
That's where,
This is Dot.
Yes, Dot, go ahead.
This is for Erica. You might want to contact your local blind institution like Braille Institute or something like that.
Lighthouse, yeah.
Yeah, Lighthouse. Yeah, every state have their own thing, so they have a lot of experienced people to help you out to start the right device.
Are y'all in Houston? Would y'all know something here in Houston?
Yes, iBug is based out of Houston. The Lighthouse is a great resource. I would also recommend coming to on Monday. So this call is, for the Mac. But we generally, encourage people to get their feet wet with Apple using the iDevices like the iPhone.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Because that'll, kind of give you, that'll just be a first step. And we have a call that takes place every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. That's for people using the iPhone with VoiceOver. So, one thing you'll really have to do is if to use something like VoiceOver, you'll have to learn to listen more than it's developing those listening skills, and that takes a long time, but you will get there. And I think Brad was trying to make a point.
It's fine. Yeah. Well, still have a little bit of vision left in one eye, and even though I am a 100% VoiceOver user all the time, I still am able to see the screen a little bit. You mentioned dark mode.
Yes.
Dark mode sounds like a good idea, but like you mentioned, it doesn't work in every app. And I find it both on the iPhone, iPad, and my Mac. Rather than use dark mode, I use invert colors, and on both the Mac and the iDevices, they have smart invert.
Yes, I have the smart invert where you click it 3 times.
Yeah, set your dark mode, light mode on light mode, just like normal, and then use invert colors, and it will work much better for you because it will invert everything instead of. I find dark mode works primarily with Apple native applications, but it's hit or miss with non-Apple stuff. And the same is true, on all of the Apple devices. But, as far as your original question, like Chanelle said, getting started on the portable device is a really good idea. But the beauty of the Apple stuff is they communicate with each other. So if you have an iPhone and then you decide to go with a Mac, they will be able to communicate with each other and share things like we were talking earlier about messages, and a number of other things on your Mac will communicate with an iPhone. So that is one of the beauties of getting a Mac. Also, when you look at the cost of buying a non-Apple PC, yes, there are some free options, but a lot of times, you go with having to purchase a screen reader. And even if it's a free one, it's a third party one, and it's not on there to begin with. The VoiceOver is on the Mac. If you buy one, take it out of the box and turn it on and just give it about a minute. And if it detects you're not doing anything, the screen reader will start talking and it will guide you through the setup process. Now, if you've never used it before, well, you're going to be a little lost, but everything has a learning curve.
Yeah. And I completely understand that. I do. I just haven't really been out in the world this time. I'm barely starting to get, it's hard. It's been hard.
Yes.
I get motivated every time I speak to people that have like this, right now, I get motivated, and I've learned that that's motivating me to do more and to get out there, and I'm not going to stay, here. And I need to, I was a driver before. And so, my occupation can be a driver no more, but so I can do bilingual. I could speak Spanish and English. And I said, well, you know what? Maybe I could be a bilingual for, a hospital, or maybe somewhere where I don't have to leave too many times. I mean, I know maybe that's not a good idea, but I want to stay home more. I don't know if that's good.
You're getting there. You're taking important steps. You're getting in contact with people, getting in contact with us. And I just encourage you to keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And thank you for, I'll still listen, and I'll be here. If I have any questions, and I'm going to go to the Apple store.
And definitely come back on Monday evenings from 7 to 9 p.m.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
7 to 9.
Great.
Yes.
Same Zoom room.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Glad to have you.
Good luck. Yes.
Thank you.
And who would like to ask our next question?
This is Lynn. I just wanted
Lynn.
to get your opinion before my microwave blows up with my dinner in it. I have a MacBook Air, and it's an M1. I think that's it, right? I can't remember now. But anyway, it's I love the keyboard on that thing. Just love it. It's just
that's awesome.
So if I were to get, the iPad is becoming really cool, right? And it's getting some and I know this is not an iPad discussion, so I'm not gonna do, but what keyboard do you think is closest to the MacBook Air keyboard on the M1? Is there
Apple Magic Keyboard?
Magic? Because some of the keys, now I'm a typist. Like, I'm a real typist. I don't just hunt and, pack or whatever they call that. I type with purpose.
That's awesome.
And my fingers fly like a bird. So I don't want a cramped, squished up keyboard.
Right.
That is, pretty but difficult to type on. So
yeah, go ahead, Brad.
Get that full size Apple Magic Keyboard. I like a keyboard with a number pad.
Okay.
You can use it with your Mac Air or another Apple device. It will only pair with one device at a time, but that doesn't mean you can't have it paired with a Mac, paired with an iPad, but it just means that when you use it, you got to open Bluetooth and tap on it and it'll repair.
Right. Okay.
But,
I have that. This is Merle.
Just a minute, Merle.
Okay.
Were you done, Brad? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm done. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Merle.
That's right. I was just going to say, I've got that keyboard and I love it.
Does it have a nice click sound? I'm like weird that way. I love my clicky sound.
Not really.
But it doesn't make a lot of.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like
big
the
enough
old
to where your
ones,
fingers will. Because I got arthritis and I can't use the keyboard on the laptop. That's why I got this one, so at least I can use it now.
There's
Brad,
not a lot.
I have a couple of them. One with my desktop Mac, and I have another one of the full-size ones that I take with me. If I travel and I'm going to be away for a while, it's flat and I can stick it in my suitcase. And when I get where I'm going, I have it paired with my MacBook Pro, and I'm able to have then a full-size keyboard to use with my MacBook Pro. And just bought the one that doesn't have Touch ID on it, because there's Touch ID on the MacBook Pro, just like your Mac Air has Touch ID sensor.
Yeah, it does.
So they sell a model with Touch ID and a model without, in both the full size and the compact. So No, I mean the Magic Keyboard. They sell a version with Touch ID and without, but the Touch ID only works on the newer Macs. The ones with the M1 or the prior to that, it was the T2 chip. But actually, I don't think the Touch ID works unless it's an M1. So excuse me there. But it's a nice one. It took me a little while to get used to the flat, but the keys on the full size one are a little larger than the keys on the Magic Keyboard that does not include the number pad.
Okay.
So the little squares are slightly larger on the full size one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
And I mean, there's not a lot of, like, some keyboards, you really, the keys really stick up and there's quite a bit of travel when you press them. But these are still, like Brad said, very nicely spaced out. They still have a firmness to them. It's a pleasurable keyboard. I don't like to have it down on like a desk down below me. Some desks have the things so I like to keep it on my lap.
Yeah.
Because it hurts or it's kind of hard to, it's to reach down. But if you keep it on your lap, it works great.
I set it on the table right in front of my
or the tape.
MacBook Pro. I don't know. That's just how I do it. But you can put it on your lap.
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife likes those little trays that are down lower, but it's just, it's whatever works best for you ergonomically.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I'm so sorry. Can I?
Okay.
This is Erica.
Yeah, go ahead, Erica.
Do they have lighted keyboards that light up, like the letters?
The
and
MacBook
stuff?
Pros do. The MacBooks do. They have a backlit keyboard.
Okay.
If you can see it. I can't see it. So first thing I do is turn that light all the way down so it doesn't use any battery power. And I just do it all by feel.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
This Dot.
Yes, Dot.
I'm on Dropbox.com.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where to, because it's not clear where to download the Dropbox installation thing.
This is
so
Herbie.
you can. Yes, Herbie.
Yeah,
I believe
Herbie
it's
knows.
on the account menu.
It is, yes.
What's that?
In the account menu.
On the
so
account
via space somewhere it says account is towards the top.
You kind of need to sign in first, though.
I think it'll look, but I think it will expand.
I have the account. I mean,
this is Brad. Are you looking for where to get the Dropbox app?
Yes, on my Mac. Yeah.
Do you already have it on your Mac?
No, I don't.
Go to Dropbox, open your browser, go to dropbox.com/downloading with an ING, DOWNLOADING. And when you go to that website, it will automatically download the app for your computer and its operating system. So if you go on a Mac, it will know you're on a Mac. If you're on an M1 Mac, it will know you're on an M1 Mac, and it will
that's what I'm looking for.
It will download the correct one. It will be in your downloads folder, and then you will need to install it. And then once it's I think it downloads a DMG.
Yep, I just tried it. It works.
With when you open it, a DMG is a disk image. It'll put an item on your desktop. You may need to go to the desktop and then open that. It'll open a little window, and it'll have the Dropbox.app that you'll need to copy and paste in your applications folder. And then you'll need to run it from there. And once you run it, it puts it in your menu extras, or now they call it system. What do they call it now? I can't remember. Doesn't matter. It is what it.
Yeah.
Status menu. That's what.
There you go. Yeah.
Status.
Same
menu,
thing.
okay.
Menu extras. Status. It's in there, and it'll be running. And you go to your status menu, and if you find it, and then VO spacebar, it'll open up and allow you to sign in, and then you're in.
Good tip.
So this is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
Actually, it's interesting we bring up Dropbox because something I've noticed very recently, and I think it's something
Thank
Dropbox
you,
said
Brad.
right now, I cannot actually access it through the status menu. Like, I can see it there.
I was struggling with that too.
Really? But it won't let me view space on it.
I didn't even see it in mine.
You may need to, hang on, I've got some.
Oh, now I do. Let's see.
So VO shift.
Oh, you know what? It's not.
Application.
No, it's not. They broke something.
Command Shift A.
Command Shift A for application.
Yep.
Application folder.
You're right.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't
So
work.
here's what you do. I'm going to try this. I'm going to VO Command F5. We'll route my mouse to it.
Yep.
And then VO Shift Spacebar. That did it, and that opens it.
Oh,
so what you've got
to
do,
yeah.
Then if I hit,
then
if I hit the escape key, it goes away. But some apps do this. I have a VPN that I have to do this.
I only
in
just
the status
noticed
bar
it this morning, and I didn't really play around with it much.
So VO
Shift,
about it.
They have done something. I asked you about this once before, Herbie, if yours had done it over the past few months. If you've already had it installed, what they're doing is they're changing where Dropbox is putting its folder, whatever you want to call it, on your Mac. It used to be it put the folder in your home folder. And if you have, if you open your home folder, Herbie, go to where it says Dropbox and see if VoiceOver calls it a folder or if they call it an alias. If it's an alias, because Dropbox will update, but I don't think it updates without you knowing it, like OneDrive did.
Mine's still a folder.
Yeah, and it may be because you guys both have Intel Macs. I don't know if this new thing is for Apple Silicon only, but mine did it on my MacBook. I did it on my Mac Studio first, and then about a month later, it did it on the MacBook Pro. Of course, it did it while I was at CSUN in a hotel with dreadfully slow internet. So I kept kicking the can and telling it, do it later. Then once I got home, I did it. But yes, it does it. But if you download it right now and install it, it'll give you that newer. It puts it in a different library location or something I didn't really understand.
This data, I need to listen to the recording again because there was so many steps. I'm kind of lost about the VO shift space and all that. I have to listen.
Well, maybe if you're really nice and you come to Herbie's study session on Thursday, he'll go over it with you.
Okay. I'll be there.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Diane. Hi, Diane.
Yeah, thank you, Brad. Thank you, Herbie.
I left for several minutes, a lot longer than I wanted to, but what I did was open a room on the Mac.
Yay!
And it was a little different. So,
Good for you.
A club?
No, a Zoom.
Oh, Zoom
room. Yeah.
I much prefer it on a Mac than on Windows.
Yeah, so do I.
Although it's not that, it's just what you get used to, and
I
stopped
always
using
get thrown
it on
off
Windows.
when I'm on Windows that, okay, when I write in the email field, it does not erase what I wrote. I have to erase everything first and then write in. Because, we can open 5 different Zoom accounts.
Yes.
Oh, mine, when I go to the email field, it's highlighted, and the first thing I type replaces it all.
In Windows?
Not in Windows.
Oh, no.
No, not in Windows.
No.
In Mac. Oh, yeah, Mac.
Sorry, I haven't done it in Windows, and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
You don't have any beautiful tables to interact with, too. You have to find the room, and I don't know if you can even go to the bottom, if the room's closer to the bottom. And then you have to hit enter, then you have to enter again, then you have to finally...
It's a lot easier on the Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And of course, then I figured out how to change the host.
Good
and
for
you. And what's really
Woo-hoo.
nice on the Mac is, remember earlier, we talked about the menu bar.
Yes.
So when you're in Zoom, if you do VOM and go to the menu bar, hit VO right arrow or just right arrow one time to the Zoom menu, then open that menu either with the down arrow or VO spacebar, in that menu is an item called Switch User, and you can type SW, and it will take you right to it. You hit enter, and you're in the Switch User dialog, where you can easily type in the email address for the Zoom account and then the password that you're trying to log into.
Oh, okay.
And then yep, and it'll get you right to it really quick.
I saw that, but I think I logged off the way I'm used to doing it in Windows.
Well, if you open Switch User, just opening it logs you off the account you're logged into.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and if you mess up typing it in and it rejects it because you're not logged into any account, just opening the Switch User will log you out. It is it is swift.
So one of these days I'm going to try hosting, but if you have a recording like from a former training session, I might look for that and try to give it a listen in case there's anything else that that I need to know that isn't obvious.
I don't
if you
definitely you can sit in on the next host training and we can I'm sure
I might want to try doing it before then, though.
Right.
I would say start by just playing around with getting used to how you know how to switch users, so you know how to make.
I know how to make someone else a host. Yeah.
So you've got it made.
You might not actually need any training.
No.
There's no difference in what you do. The difference is doing it on a Mac versus how you've done it on Windows. And once you get used to thinking like a Mac user and you got to interact and things like that, it's no different than doing these things in any other application. You're just doing it in Zoom.
I did realize that I had to interact in the participants list.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just to interact, use your VO left, your VO right, and you'll be in good shape. And don't try to, like when I first started hosting on the Mac, don't try to do tab and like you do in Windows. It doesn't work the same. It really doesn't
work the same.
Okay.
And you can open up a Zoom room on your own account at home and join it with your iPhone or other devices, and you can create your own little thing there with 2 or 3 users and play with it.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations. You'll be maybe the third person that can transition from one operating to a system to another without needing training from a hosting perspective. So.
Yeah. Good job, Diane.
It was fun trying it. Yes.
Awesome.
I did it because I was too lazy to move my headset from one computer to the other.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So what one really cool thing you missed, which I didn't know, you can have Dropbox download directly the appropriate version by going to dropbox.com/downloading. So there you go. That is the hot tip of the night.
Good start.
Because I do want that on my Mac, absolutely.
Yep. So that is the hot tip of the night. So there you go.
Thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
All right. So what was the word again?
Nice try. Who has our next question? And it's not what is the Wordle word.
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
So there's a 5-letter word I'm trying to figure out.
Nice.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
nice
well, why don't you explain to people how text replacement works on the Mac? Because I hadn't gotten around to that yet.
One of my favorites. All right, so let's talk about text replacement. You heard, if you were on iBug last night, you heard us talk about it from a phone perspective, but we're going to talk about it from a Mac perspective. First of all, what is it? It allows you to use a series of letters or a short phrase to automatically type in a longer phrase. And you're asking, okay, I understand why you'd want to use it on the phone, but why on the Mac? Well, there are a number of reasons. I, for one, fill out forms every week for ACB and facilitating calls, and there's just certain key phrases that are always going to be the same that I don't want to write out. So, I'll actually show you how that works in just a minute, because I got to go fill out a form anyway. But I can have it, always accurately type in certain things and I'm good to go. Another case in point, well, I mentioned opening a lot of Zoom rooms. And do we end at 8:15 though, or 8:30?
8:30.
Okay. So we have on ACB Media, we have 5 different accounts that we cycle through. So I don't want to remember community and C Hollis and membership dash intern, blah blah blah. So what I do is, for instance, like for the last one that's really complicated, I just know it as I just type in the word com4 space com4 space backspace, and that whole email address is already written now for me accurately every time. And so when you have key things that you're writing out, it can really save you a lot of time. So how do we do our text replacement on here? Well, I am so glad you asked. And we're going to bring up Loopback. I should really make the Mac students actually demo with this because we've told them where to go. But I'm nice.
Loop.
So
I don't remember it.
I don't remember Loopback.
It's not Loopback. That's something else he's using.
I do have to say.
Mac.
So does anybody want to take a guess from this class right now? This is just limited to the class where you might go to do text replacement.
Fine.
That we have. Yeah, go ahead, Dad.
Fine, is that?
Not quite.
I was thinking text edit, but that was kind of maybe a weird thought.
Well, think about where. Yep, very good.
Oh, good job.
What did he say?
Keyboard.
Keyboard in your
keyboard.
settings, in your
Well, that was
preferences.
Keith from the previous, or Pete from the previous class, but that's fine.
Oh,
But that's one of those things that, again, that if you know your iOS, then you have a good starting point with the Mac.
So keyboard on the what setting now? System settings.
Yep. So we're system settings. Okay. So I'm going to go to my system settings.
Menu. Keyboard. Loopback. Loopback.
And I'm going to go to my keyboard in the context menu here. And
appearance, window.
We're gonna via right. No, I don't want appearance.
Appearance. Scroll area. Vertical table. Appearance. Selected. Keyboard.
Okay, that was unexpected.
Keyboard.
Just updated this thing.
It always when you open things
100%.
from the context menu. Remember earlier I said it always starts in the upper left corner.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason,
heading text input.
It always says appearance, even though that's not where it is.
Heading text.
So I'm going to go to my text input heading, and we're just going to view right.
US. Edit button. Text replacements button.
And we're going to view right to the text replacements button.
Table.
So I can see my existing ones I put in here and they all sync up in the cloud if you're signed up with an iCloud.
Done.
So let's
Table.
take a look here.
Replace. 832.
I don't want to show you that
Replace. 986. With 986themix.com.
So if I type in 986themix, then it's always going to type in 986themix.com.
Replace. ECK. With birthday cake. Replace.
And birthday cake. So that's actually the birthday cake emoji. So it'll actually put in the birthday cake emoji if I want.
With birthday
I
cake.
need to remember to
Replace. CHH. With replace. CHM. With replace. Com1. With community@acb.org.
So you get just to type. Now this will not work with passwords. If I want to add in a shortcut,
add button.
I VO space on that.
Edit text.
I put in the phrase that I want to replace first, then I VO right.
With edit text.
Then the replacement phrase.
Cancel.
And then I hit the
add
button, which is dimmed, and I VO left to the cancel button. If I don't want to do anything, and I get out of that, and then when I'm done completely, I VO right to the done button.
Text replacements.
So how would I use this in a real life scenario? I'll show you.
Loop.
So let's go to
folder. Close window.
No, I don't want that.
Finder. Desktop. Mac. Volume. FaceTime. Finder.
Okay.
FaceTime.
I just want a Finder window to open. Thank
ACB.
you.
Folder.
So we're going to go to my links here.
List. Volunteer. Schedule your ACB. Open.
And we're going to schedule an ACB community call. And all right.
Links.
So
switch account. This is a required question.
So the first thing it wants is my email address. So I just type in HBA.
Saving. Her.
And I hit space after typing that, and I hit backspace. And then
MOPLIAMG @
see, there's my email address. Tab.
Event title required question. Required edit
This
text.
is Herbie's Cooking Corner, so I type in HCC,
Her.
space,
Delete
backspace, And see, now I've got
Herbie's Cooking Corner.
Just like that.
Event day and date required question.
Why did you
What's
hit
the
the
backspace,
backspace?
Herbie?
Because I don't need an extra space afterwards.
Correct. Just like on the iPhone.
Yes, just like on the iPhone.
It starts to pre-populate, and you have to hit the space bar to accept it.
Yeah.
And then you've got to hit the
This is a required question.
backspace
Because it
to
won't,
get rid of it.
accept
you don't
it
need
often if it's got that space in it, right?
Event, event facilitator required question.
Okay, event facilitator. Let's try out this new one that I came up with. So
saving her delete space.
So now I just typed in
Draft
HTZ
saved.
space.
Herbie Allen and Tori Ziegler.
And there you go. It just typed in the. So you see how quickly you can get through something like that with predetermined responses, even on your Mac. It can be a time saver. And another reason why I call Windows affectionately or unaffectionately the dark side. So because it can do that.
Loop back.
Yes.
So
yes, start.
So you have to hit the backspace every time you do the.
To get it
Well, unless
it depends on how you're doing it.
Yes.
If you're writing if you were writing an email, for example, and this is in the body of the email, you would want a blank space following whatever it is, so that when you start to type something and you type the first couple of letters, it's going to auto populate it, put it in there.
Yes.
And if you hit the space bar, you accept it. Or if you just keep typing, like for example, I have it set up to do my email address. And if I type something that starts with those same first two letters that I used, it's going to ask me, is that what I want? And if I just hit space, it's going to put my email. But if I just continue typing other letters, it's going to, it knows, no, that's not what I want. It just fills it out with whatever I'm typing.
Because remember, your space bar dot is what triggers the
selection
phrase.
It says I'm going to accept what it's suggesting.
Okay,
but in the case of when he's filling out a form like that, he doesn't want a blank space after it. But if you're, like I said, typing an email or typing in a text document, you probably want a blank space after, like any word, you want a blank space after it.
And Diane had a question, I think.
Yep. Yes, I did. So basically, just because you went over that a little quickly for my slow brain, but anyway, so basically then you type in the whatever number of letters that you set for the shortcut, you space, and it adds it
enters your phrase, right?
It enters,
Yeah,
so,
it overwrites those letters with the phrase.
But you said it doesn't work with passwords. So if you did that in the Zoom
you would just do that for the
field,
email address, not for the passwords.
Then you would have to you'd have to VO right arrow.
You can VO right arrow, or you can tap to the password field
to get your password. Yeah.
But and actually in that case, I don't think the blank space at the end of it would matter. Does it, Herbie?
It does with Zoom, yes.
Okay, so even a blank space will mess it up. Okay.
Yes.
Just that again?
Yes, that.
Can you use it in messages?
Currently,
you can use it anywhere. You just can't use it in an encrypted password field.
Okay, so you're saying then that once you put your space in and it writes the whole phrase, then it leaves a blank space that you have to get rid of.
It adds a blank space. And if you just hit your delete key, it gets rid of it.
Yeah, the reason why I went fast, though, is because this is, again, the concept that it saddens me that people are not already familiar with this concept with the iPhone, because this is something that, again, just transfers over. It's actually, if you've used it on iOS, it's not, what I'm talking about here is nothing new, just you need to know how to find it on the Mac to make adjustments.
Right. I'm gonna ask if I can use that on my iPhone messages. It's
an Appleverse thing. I can even use it on my older Mac running Monterey, or not Monterey. Not Mojave, the one after Mojave. Catalina.
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 And when he was talking about it, saves it in iCloud. So if you have more than one Mac like Herbie does, if you set these up on one Mac, they will show up on the other. Just like on your iOS device, if you set it up on your iPhone, it will sync to your iPad.
Do they work on your phone too automatically?
No, I don't know.
Yes.
Do they?
Yes, it all syncs up.
But remember, you need to be careful that you don't have so many that you forget the shortcuts.
Yes.
I've done that. I created a bunch for
too.
emojis and I've forgotten half of them.
Right,
so
me too.
it's good to review your list once in a while.
So I guess my next question is then, because this is basically the first time I've ever heard of this. How do you do it on the iPhone?
Well, so we went to keyboard on the Mac.
So you do it you do the same thing on the iPhone, then you'll
yeah,
find
where is the keyboard? And it's in settings.
General keyboard.
General keyboard.
And then
because it's not a voiceover thing.
But
and then you'll see.
And then text replacement.
I wanted
to,
but Minerva, let's see.
Diane.
Yeah. Well, no,
yeah,
it's going to be. She's gonna wish she was Minerva in a minute because I think she was the host when I actually did cover this on Apple Bytes with the various typing modes on the iPhone keyboard.
She was hosting. She wasn't paying attention.
I was more concentrating on hosting.
Yeah.
There's not much to host. There's not much to do. Everybody's muted. There's no. They can't. We're not taking questions at that point.
No. She's got to be on the lookout for Zoom bombers.
Yeah.
Right. That's
everything else. She's busy.
Just keep digging.
Yep.
So let me get. Can I make it clear for myself?
Yes. Go ahead, Dot.
So if I set it up on an iPhone, so every time somebody message me wanting my address, for instance,
it'll work on your
type
iPhone,
it again.
or so long as you're signed into the same
type my
iCloud
address
account. If your watch supports typing, it'll work on that too.
Support typing.
My watch does not support typing. I'm too cheap to upgrade.
If you have the 7 or above,
you have to have a newer watch.
If you have the 7 or above, you can type and you can.
All right, Pete, go ahead.
What I find it really helpful for Dot and Diane is email addresses, because you're constantly asked to type in your email address.
Yep.
So I have a shortcut. GM is my shortcut for my Gmail address, and YM I have a Yahoo Mail, so those are my Yahoo and Gmail addresses.
But Pete, my question is, what if you were to own a GM car one day? Then what would you do?
You can hit escape to not.
It would be CA for caddy.
Yeah, and you can hit escape if you don't want what it put in.
Yeah.
But
pretty cool, Pete.
True.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
But
just keep typing.
Yeah.
Keep typing, and
keep typing. It'll ignore it.
Yeah.
Ignore. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I mean, I never used this before. But I'm using my iPhone for 8.
It used to be called shortcuts, and it used to be a little bit more challenging to set up on the Mac.
Right.
But
now it's a piece of cake
with Ventura.
Yeah.
Okay. Do that.
But it's a real time saver, believe me. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So with
Misty.
Yes, Misty.
I have another Zoom question.
All right.
Can you label give an example when we put in our ID for iBug today? Could we label that as iBug today on the Mac?
No.
No, but what you can do is you can create an alias on your desktop, and it will get you right in. You join on your Mac.
Mm-hmm.
You know how? Do you click on the link that this works for pretty much any Zoom room? You click on a link in an email or on the iBug website, for example, correct?
No, I just put in the
okay, we'll
ID
try this.
Number.
Click on a link. Okay, even if you go to the website and just this one time, click on the link. Every time you do it, it's going to open, that link will open Safari. A dialog will pop up that says, do you want to allow Safari to open this link in Zoom? And there are 2 buttons there, cancel and allow. If you select allow, it will open the room in Zoom and you're right in. But if you say cancel, you're now on a Safari web page. Okay. It did not go any farther. Mm-hmm. If you do Command S, which is save, but since it's the first time it's been saved, it opens your save as dialog box. Mm-hmm. And it will save this as a web alias. And it's got a place where you would put the file name. And right then it calls it Safari Desktop. I can't remember what it calls it, something generic. And right then you can either rename it what you want to name it. In this case, you could call it iBug Zoom Room, mm-hmm. or you can always accept the default and rename it after it's on your desktop. But you will, VO right arrow through all that until the very last button you come to is save. And you have now saved a Safari alias to your desktop that will, and you can do this for any website, but you can also bookmark them, but you can't really bookmark this one. It doesn't work that way. So you make a desktop alias for it. And now it's on your desktop. And when you go to it, you put your focus on it. And if you do either Command O or Command down arrow, either command will open something, and it will open it, and it will open that Safari, and you will get that same dialog asking you if you want to allow this page to open in Zoom, cancel or allow, and you hit allow and you're in, and you don't have to type in user ID or passcode or anything. You're just in. Oh. And I have done that for a number of Zoom rooms that I go to all the time. And I took all these aliases that were on my desktop and then I put them in a folder. And then I made an alias on my desktop.
So tell her how to open your desktop when she wants to open the room next week.
When she wants to do what?
When she wants to go to that iBug room that she just set up the alias
for.
You've
got the thing on.
Tell her how to go to the desktop.
Well, it's on your desktop.
Tell her how to get there.
Well, what you would do is how to do it to get to the desktop. Yeah. When I'm on my desktop, if I do command I can do command up arrow, and I'm going to be looking at my desktop folder.
To get to the desktop is either VO Shift D or Command Tab.
Correct.
Until
yeah.
And then it's right there in a list.
And then what I did is I had several of them, and I made a folder. Actually, I highlighted several of them, and there's a command to make a folder with selection, and you'll find that in the file menu.
Yep.
It is control command. What is it? God, I do it all the time. Oh God, control command F. Oh, never mind. I can't remember. I do it all the time. What the hell is it? Control command N, like new, and it makes a new folder, and it wants you to give it a name, and you just made a folder with whatever you had selected. But you can do that even with just make a folder and move things into it, and then that folder will be on your desktop, or like I said, you could put the folder someplace else and then create an alias to a folder, and Herbie can show you how to do that if you come to the review session.
Actually, Misty's not part, but she can come back to Mac and talk. And yeah, the other thing is to make sure that
we'll do a demo, won't we?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Brad can do the demo. The other thing to make sure
I can do that. I do it all the time. So yeah.
The other thing to make sure is that when you save, the correct save location is selected. So, it might not save to your desktop
when
by
you
default.
go in there, it asks you where you want to put it. It's just like any save as.
Yeah.
And mine's set to just save things like that to the desktop. So then
that's why I was asking.
Mine
so
is
she
not.
can find it later.
Yeah. Well, Pete and I
quickly.
went through that once before because he was trying to find something.
Right.
But yes. And that's another thing but anyway.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's a good one for next time.
We are several minutes over. So.
I was going to ask one more question. Because I was going to say, if I had used all of my making a new email or whatever on my iPhone and pad, and it's full. Would it be full on my Mac also, or
You make a new what?
like I want to make a folder? Would it because it's
No,
full?
your iPhone, iPad, and your Mac are separate in that regard.
Oh, okay. That's what I wanted to make sure.
Because they're all local to that device. And so each device has its own storage limitations.
So I mean, if your email address is filled up because you've used up all the space
that's
the
cloud,
server allows, that's different.
That's different.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
there's probably an IMAP thing, and that's on, like we said before, that's on your email provider's email server.
Yeah. All right. Well, with all of these buzzing, intriguing thoughts, all these things we've learned, we need to end. So thanks everyone for being here, and we will see you at the end of June, whenever that is. All right.
Really good
Bye.
session, Chanelle. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.